35 degrees north, 94 degrees west. What's the meaning of these numbers? Random to some, simple coordinates to others. But to the people of Fort Smith, Arkansas, these numbers represent the epicenter of their families, lives, and businesses. The places where they have chosen to build and grow their dreams. And at every step for 125 years, the Fort Smith Regional Chamber of Commerce has been building business right alongside. Fort Smith has changed a lot in those 125 years. The transformation from fort to corporate city hasn't been without its fair share of pains and sacrifices. But with those have also come enormous success, growth, and positive development. Those 125 years have put Fort Smith on the map, made our strengths known, and solidified our place in the country's history as a foundation of manufacturing, business, character, and a place of common ground between cultures and people. And now, it's those beginnings that are the foundation of our future. Join us as we take a look at Fort Smith and its history through the 125 years of the Fort Smith Regional Chamber of Commerce and changing from a fort to a corporate city.
The United States in 1887 was a bold place, experiencing an era of enormous growth, especially in the North and West, attracting millions of immigrants from Europe. But it was also a period of enormous poverty. Railroads were the major industry, but the factory system, mining, and labor unions also increased in importance. Two major nationwide depressions interrupted growth. The South remained economically devastated, its economy increasingly tied to cotton and tobacco production, which suffered low prices. State and local governments focused on infrastructure, such as schools, colleges, and hospitals. Fort Smith had no paved roads, no public utilities, and the only railroad out of the city went to Little Rock. Even the Arkansas River had yet to be bridged. The city had no vision for what it was to become. Until a small group of city leaders bound together to promote all enterprises whose object shall be the development of our resources and the addition to the wealth and prosperity of Fort Smith. Focused on telling the country about Fort Smith, the Chamber, as it came to be known, over time, recruited individuals and businesses willing to commit to Fort Smith. But they also had the foresight to build the infrastructure that would appeal to those businesses. And they came. Furniture companies, basket and wagon factories, electrical and gas distribution companies, smelters, and even the first hotel in Fort Smith. Garrison Avenue enjoyed the construction of the 8-story First National Bank building, which was home to one of the largest financial institutions in the region.
In the years following 1915, the country and the world economic pictures were changing quickly. Rapid industrialization, urbanization, the construction of great transcontinental railroads, innovations in science and technology, and the rise of big business were all the order of the day. Railroads were the linchpin in the new industrialized economy. The railroad industry enabled raw materials, finished products, food, and people to travel cross-country in a matter of days, as opposed to the months or years that it took in the past. Fort Smith was keeping pace with the change and quickly becoming one of the manufacturing centers of the United States. Because of the abundant natural resources and favorable location, furniture continued to play an important role in the community's growth, including the Garrison, Ward, and Oklahoma Smith furniture factories. As if anyone needed reminding, it became clear that manufacturing was in Fort Smith's DNA. Healthcare continued to grow strong with Sparks, Mercy, Cooper Clinic, and Hope Croc Clinic all growing at a pace to keep up with the increased population. The Chamber worked closely with government agencies such as the Homeowners Loan Corporation and U.S. Transit Office to make sure the citizens and businesses of Fort Smith had everything possible to continue to grow. Camp Chaffee made its debut in 1941 as the Chamber and others worked with the U.S. government to take advantage of its increased military spending. The Fort Smith Regional Airport runways and taxi strips were completed in 1949, ushering in another crucial link in the evolution of Fort Smith.
The end of World War II brought thousands of young servicemen back to America to pick up their lives and start new families in new homes with new jobs, with energy never before experienced. American industry expanded to meet peacetime needs. Americans began buying goods not available during the war, which created corporate expansion and job growth everywhere. The baby boom was underway. The Chamber of Commerce was working side by side with businesses and individuals in Fort Smith and the region to ensure that the area prospered and kept pace with the country. Fort Smith Junior College continued expanding in newly remodeled buildings. Central Airlines flew the first DC-3 service into the community, with Braniff Airlines to follow. Factories continued to make their homes here. Flanders, Baldor Electric, Harding Glass, and Riverside Furniture, just to name a few. Fort Smith was growing, and the Chamber pushed state and federal officials to widen existing highways, expand the airport, and connect the community with other roads. It was an exciting time. Existing plants were doubling in size, and the Arkansas River Navigation Project was underway, meaning more access to goods and services coming and going. The Chamber paved the way for bonds for a new civic center. OK Foods, Gerber Nestle, and Arkansas Best all realized the benefit of business in Fort Smith and announced their presence. Sebastian County led the state in per capita income. The first barge unloaded at the port of Fort Smith 150 tons of steel, and Fort Smith becomes home to the largest mall in the state. Progress was on everyone's mind, and the Chamber of Commerce was instrumental in keeping the fires lit.
The 80s and beyond would see Fort Smith moving into a new era. Traditional manufacturing began to give way to more advanced and high-tech development. The nation's economy struggled to find its path, and many communities suffered. The Chamber of Commerce continued to reach out and partner with other communities, both in Arkansas and surrounding states, to bring jobs and businesses home to the area. In 1980, Fort Smith Industries spent over $24 million in expansions with 450 new jobs. Increased jet service from Frontier Airlines and others meant that Fort Smith could be connected with major cities within hours. Beckart, Coca-Cola, Gerdau, Ream, Kraft Planter Peanuts, Pepsi, and Pernod Ricard all established or expanded plants. The quality of life in Fort Smith also continued to be a focus of both the Chamber and the businesses. Key events like the Old Fort River Festival and the Arkansas-Oklahoma State Fair, park expansions, and continued upgrading of sidewalks, roads, and beautification, and a world-class symphony all meant Fort Smith could continue to be an enviable place to live. Corporate headquarters for Arkansas Best Corporation, OK Foods, and Golden Living began to solidify the landscape. By the mid-90s, tourism in Arkansas had reached over $2.7 billion. Fort Smith was a key part, showcasing the National Historic Site, Belle Grove District, and many other sites of interest. As a transportation hub, companies also continued to recognize the importance of Fort Smith as a central element in moving commerce. A key ingredient to the success of Fort Smith is the University of Arkansas Fort Smith. Then known as West Ark Community College and West Ark Junior College at different times, University of Arkansas Fort Smith would set itself on a course of growth during the 90s that would ultimately affect nearly everyone in the region. With its acceptance into the University of Arkansas system in 2002, University of Arkansas Fort Smith touched the lives of people throughout the region. Whether you attend as a student, hire graduates for your business, or utilize it for personal growth, the University of Arkansas Fort Smith is the foundation for future progress in Fort Smith and the surrounding areas.
35 degrees north, 94 degrees west. Now think about the importance of those numbers. Simple coordinates that have a huge impact on more than 400,000 people in the region. Fort Smith has proven time and time again that it can stand in the global economy and shine. Our resources, people, talent, perseverance, character, and grit have translated into business success for companies in every possible category. Although it would have been impossible to recognize every company or individual that has helped build Fort Smith, these Chamber Legacy members gave the community and the Chamber vision, capital, and strength to achieve. The future of Fort Smith is education and our children. They will drive our local economy in the future and continue the transformation from a fort to a corporate city.